Well, hello everyone, and welcome to A Smooth Move by YourDependablePartner.com. And this may sound a little funny, but this episode really isn't about moving at all. It's quite the opposite. This episode, we have our special guest, Jane Snell Simpson. Jane, welcome. And this is all really about how you can age in place and stay in your home as long as possible. And the key word here is safely. And I really want to make a couple of distinctions here because Joelle and I have gotten to know Jane very, very well. And she's awesome. I mean, she has our highest endorsement from both of us.
Absolutely.
But it's very different having a contractor come through the home and do some things and and maybe make it a little bit more friendly versus someone who's truly an expert like Jane and her company who actually specialize in not only making the home safe but beautiful because there's a huge stigma people have that oh, if we're going to make it senior friendly, it's going to have bars and ramps, and it's going to have to be hideous, and no one wants that. So Jane, welcome, and I'm going to let you jump right in and tell us a little bit about yourself, your company, and how we accomplish those things. By the way, folks, Jane showed us pictures of work that she has done that is just, I mean, it's remarkable. You would never know what the intent is, so to speak, in terms of safety. It looks, a lot of your work just is absolutely gorgeous. So without further ado, Jane, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be back.
So
Um,
tell us a little bit about you and your company and how'd you even decide to do this? I mean,
Yeah, your origin story.
the origin story.
You're a
Okay.
superhero.
Oh, I actually have a couple of origin stories, but what I will do is tell you what comes most to my mind is back after the downturn in '07, when people were losing their homes, for real estate agents, real estate reasons. Um, People were getting loans and probably couldn't afford it at the time, but they were still able to qualify for them and they were getting these things. And that downturn showed us, a lot. And it changed the mindset of a lot of folks. I didn't start to recognize that until I'd say the downturn was around '07 or so. I started to recognize it around 2010, when, my business changed as well. And I started to notice that families were trying to find ways to live together. This multi-generational living started to take root for me. And I started to see that was important to folks and not so much how much bigger, can I buy, you know, and making it work with family, loving the family that you have and making that work, however that looks, for that individual. And to me, I said, well, this is good because I know that I can relate to that. I mean, I started thinking back. I was also at the same time getting calls from friends that were, that I knew in high school. And the conversation always went back to, would be about their parents and how they're not close to where they live and how they wish that they could be, but if they're afraid that, medical condition, maybe they may have a fall or something, nobody's there to help them. These kinds of things would come all the time. And so, you know, I started thinking, well, they're at home. I mean, your home should be your castle. And if it's not safe for you to begin with, then that's a problem. It's an obvious problem. That's something that I think I can get around and I can do because I've been a general contractor since 2003, actually, 2003. I've been licensed as a general contractor. And it's always been about remodeling and helping families, but my business transitioned a bit around that time because I just saw a need that wasn't being addressed. And, it's still not addressed today. It's better. I've seen a lot more traction, but, we could be a lot better about how we design homes and for everybody. No matter what your abilities are, we could be a lot better as a country at doing that than we are. And builders should be put on the spot and reminded of that, because they keep cranking out homes that are not the best for people of all abilities. And what happens with that is you lose a whole group of people, of folks that could be living in this home. You're kind of disqualifying them by not making it accessible. And it's not that difficult to do. It just requires a little bit more thought. That's all.
So, what areas are you finding? I mean, I'm assuming the obvious, right? Shower, hazard, right? Bathtub shower, big hazard. What else is a hazard? I mean, if someone's like in a wheelchair, they are wheelchair bound. They're not able to walk around necessarily easily. I mean, the doorways. Tell me what is unsafe and how do you fix that without sort of doing a tear down and starting over?
Yeah, well, yeah, the whole object is to do as little, in most cases, do as little as possible, because nobody wants to turn their house into a full construction if they can avoid it.
Right.
Um, but also, to your point, you gotta um you gotta solve the problem. If they're living there and they're not able to do things in their home, if they whether they have help or not, doesn't matter. There are things that you can do to accommodate both um the user and the caregiver, so that they can provide the best of care for them.
Give us some
Um,
examples. Like
so
cabinet, maybe is that something you would drop down or
A what?
like a
like
cabinet? Like
cabinet.
I could see somebody
Oh,
reaching and maybe falling or
mhm.
Well, you're right. In some cases, that is the recommendation, or we try to have as little as possible upper cabinets. That's not always easy to do, hard to
Right,
do.
because you're losing a lot of space. I
Yeah.
was laughing about the cabinets because one thing I would say, no matter what your ability is, do not hire tall construction people, because when they're tall, they think about their height. And it happened to us in our house. And our cabinets were lower, the upper cabinets. And all of a sudden I realized, wait, the line for the cabinets that we previously had is a lot lower. Why are their cabinets higher? And I said to the guy, why did you make the cabinets so high? Because my mother and I are short. And he
Mhm.
said, oh, well, I thought it would be better if you had more tile. I'm like, yeah, but now we can only reach the first shelf. Like they don't. So you have to be
Mhm.
careful who you hire, because they're thinking about their height. They're not thinking about you. Do you know what I mean?
I do. And that's part of the problem. That's part of the
Yes.
building industry's
Yes.
problem, is that they're thinking more about them than the client that they work for.
It's called egocentrism because we all think everybody is like us. It's sort
Yeah.
of like no matter what your circumstances in life, you think everybody is like you. So if you're tall, you think, oh, this is the spot it goes in.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, there is a standard that we all start from, but
Hmm.
then, I mean, that's like anything. There's a base for everything you do, right?
Right.
But then you have to really put in mind that person that you're doing this for, and what goal you're trying to accomplish. And
I
at the end
think
of
that
the
is
day, if,
key.
if it's not doing that, then you
Right.
haven't done the best you can for that client. You didn't work for that client. You kind of work for yourself.
You know what? I love the language that you use, and I know that it's coming truly from your heart. And I think it's incredible because I think other people, they just don't, I don't think they're doing it on purpose or out of any maliciousness. They just don't, it just doesn't enter their brain. So,
Right.
the things that you're saying are 100% right. They're not working for you. They're just doing the job and not really thinking.
so give us
And
some
I
examples. Go a little bit deeper, Jane.
Right. He wants to
Okay.
Tell
know,
me what this shower, what do I do in the shower? What do I
right.
do with the cabinet? How do
Okay.
I not tear down this house?
Okay. So okay, I start from the moment I get out of my vehicle. I just can't help myself, whether that's what I'm there to do or not. I
Mhm.
immediately start seeing things. hopefully I don't see things, but if I do see things, it's the minute I get out of the vehicle, I'm walking up to their front door. You
Mhm.
know, how easy is it for me to get into this home? You know, if I were in a wheelchair, if I did have walking mobility issues, what would be the concerns? And obviously, I don't have a mobility issue, so I have in the past actually um, um, what do you call it? Gotten someone to work with that has the issues and bounced ideas off of them because I really want to be the best help that I can be for this client. I'm just not someone that will take your project and take your money if I don't think I'm going to be able to help you.
Mhm.
And so I will, I have somebody that I've in the past, hey, what, help me with this because you're using a wheelchair. What kind of things are important to you? And that's improved how I look at things and, things I may not have thought of because there's just so much there's only so much you can do if I don't live this every day, you
Right.
know. So when it's needed, I have brought those resources in to help. But I'm looking at doorways at, is it wide enough? The older homes, you know, that's usually a no. If this house hasn't been renovated in, I was going to say 30 years, but I have to go back further than that because, the building code has changed a lot and we're approaching, yeah, 30 years would be further than that for an older home, what we would consider an older home that maybe doesn't meet the more recent codes. So doorway widening, if it's not 36 inches or wider, that's a problem. You could do double doors. That also accomplish that if you have two doors as your entrance. But even before that, the steps. I don't know why there's always steps to enter. If you think about that,
Yeah.
there's every
Yeah.
house has at
One,
least
at least.
one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or a lip on the garage instead of a downgrade. Do you know what I mean?
So that's code.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
code for that.
For water.
Why? Yeah.
I only brought that up because I know my dad broke his foot not that long ago, and I had to bring him into the house in a wheelchair, and we could not get over that little lip. I mean, it was awful.
So you wouldn't have thought of it because you've never been in that situation.
Correct.
But what we usually do for that is we'll put like you can put a temporary wedge, like
Mhm.
this little small ramp that goes just 3 to 4 inches is usually how high it is. Some of them are higher. And that will at least get you from the ground floor in the garage into the home. And you can remove it when you don't need it anymore, when you no longer need it. So that's a quick solution that we do for that. But yeah, I don't understand why we have to have that because we don't. I mean, you can do a nice sloped area with pavers to make it look nicer if that's your choice. We've done multiples where we've removed old-fashioned ways of accomplishing this with the ugly metal
The
ramp.
ugly rubber mat that we have in my house. Okay.
Well, you said rubber. Rubber
Yeah,
is
well, because one room has a big step down. So
okay.
I've got like a rubber ramp because I wasn't even here then. It was just the quickest fix that I could think of because my brain doesn't work the same way as yours does. So I just thought, well, let's just use this because I don't want him to fall. And it's worked, but it's ugly.
Right. And then Brian said something earlier that I'm just going to touch on a little bit. That what I've found with my clients is if it's ugly, they won't use it. They won't allow it. They want, and I get it, but there is some common ground there. I mean, for the risk of falling, like Joelle just said, you have to do something, maybe something in the immediate, like right now, and then you do something, make plans to do something a little nicer or better later, but they just won't do it. And I think it's just a case of maybe you don't want your friends to come over and see this ugly thing at your home. Maybe you don't want to look at it constantly as a reminder of what you can't do anymore.
Sure.
I get it.
you were kind enough to show us pictures, and I can just tell our viewers and listeners, um, it doesn't have to be ugly. A lot of the um, retrofits, I'll call it, that you did are stunning. I mean, I saw a kitchen that you did that was now senior friendly, so to speak, and it was amazing. I mean, I would have that kitchen in my house. I think the point that we need to make to our viewers and listeners is the goal here really is for you to call an expert. Jane is the one to call, obviously, and Jane's company. I mean, Jane goes by the lifestylecontractor.com, right?
Mhm.
And what a perfect name for a business for what you do, the lifestyle contractor, because you are the lifestyle contractor. But, you know, folks, as I said when we started, this is Jane's specialty. This is what her company specializes in, and she has an eye for it rather than hiring, off of Angie's list, Joe Contractor with a truck and ask him to put some bars in the shower.
Mhm.
Um, doesn't have to look that way, folks. And what I would strongly suggest is honestly calling Jane. The problem is Jane hasn't given us her number yet. So Jane, how do they get hold of you if they want a customized, I guess, a customized understanding of what A needs to be sort of redone or reconfigured and what that might look like for them? How do they get hold of you, your website, and your phone number?
Okay, so it's the I do go by the lifestyle contractor. That's how most people find me, and that's what they remember. And that's excellent. But you could find us with the lifestylecontractor.com. Um, phone numbers 954-410-9566. That's 954-410-9566. And I
Right.
gave you the website already. So I think that's, yeah. And on the website, you'll be able to find contact to get right, straight out to us from there.
And Jane, just so people know, because I think some people might think, oh, well, if I'm not doing my whole house, maybe Jane isn't the person for me. Do you do smaller jobs or only large jobs?
Well, I get calls because people just think of me for like everything that has to do with living in their home and changing the from grab bars and little small ramps. I get calls for those. I have some resources that I usually get them to do it because
Okay.
that's kind of like really small for me, and I could definitely take care of it. And we do it if we're doing a larger project along
But
with it.
you're a resource for people, even
I
if
have
you
a
can't
resource.
do the job because it's small. I don't want people to look at this and think, oh, I only have a ramp. She can't help me. I'll just use the metal. You have a resource for them so that it could still
Yeah.
look just as beautiful. Okay.
Yes. I mean, still call me. I
Okay.
mean, 'cause I want people to still feel, I am a resource. And if I don't know or I can't do it directly, I will probably have someone that can help you. And
Okay.
the other reason why I do that is because the resource the person that I work with on those smaller things, smaller tasks, she can get to it right away, like usually next day.
I got it.
And it takes me, it's going to take me a little longer because this is not something that we do all the time.
Right.
It's a process. Everything is a
Sure.
process with what we do.
Sure.
It's not as fast and as quick as you would like it, and me too. I would like it to be done a lot faster as well. But it doesn't
Jane,
quite work like that when you're working on construction projects usually.
Mhm.
think back for a second and maybe share with us one of your success stories that kind of stands out in your head. Maybe a before, what they kind of thought, and what the reality turned out to be. I'm assuming to their happy surprise.
Um, well, two come to mind. One was actually a very It's not a project I probably would have taken originally because it was a small project. But one thing I've learned, Brian, is small projects sometimes do turn into, bigger things. A lot of times they do actually. And that's actually been a theme for us over the years, even before I was just concentrating on working with families so much in the senior market. I learned that smaller jobs. I mean, we were one time asked to put a window in, just a window, because no other contractors wanted to do it. It was too small of a project. That turned into a full remodel of this person's home because they were dissatisfied with certain parts of their bathrooms, and it turned into a kitchen. It turned into from one home to another, moving to another home with him and redoing that, remodeling that one. And then I think we did a third one, which was a complete whole, like almost a knockdown and rebuild. So this was a client that just stayed with us because they enjoyed the way they liked the way we worked. And just every project he had, he didn't call anyone else but us. So I never, and that's why I like, for people to just call us, because it's tough trying to find contractors to work with. Our industry is not
Sure.
easy. So at least I know I'm going to give you someone that's reputable and not going to take advantage. So I will say that. I kind of got off track for where I was headed with that. You were asking me something, Brian.
No, you gave us a success story. He
Oh,
wanted a success story. I see that as very successful.
okay.
All
Okay.
right. Well,
Yeah,
give us that number one more time, Jane, because honestly, folks, the best way for you to really understand this is to contact Jane directly. Let her come out, let her speak with you, let her go through it. And I think you're all going to be very happily surprised at how efficient and, more importantly, how beautiful it turns out. Um, she'll show you the same pictures she showed us, and they truly were amazing. So, how do they find you one more time, Jane?
that's the lifestylecontractor.com. Now, let me say one more thing about that. When you go into the lifestyle contractor, it will come up and say JS1 Construction. That is also us. We're going through a rebranding. So if you see that, it's the same company. You could also do js1construction.com, but I know the lifestyle contractors easier for most people to remember. So,
Right.
um,
And
and that phone number is 954-410-9566.
awesome. Jane, we can't thank you enough. Um, Folks, we strongly encourage you to call. Again, I know even though yourdependablepartner.com is, we are senior move managers. We help you pack, unpack, make sure everything fits, help you donate what isn't coming. We help you ship things to relatives out of state, even out of country if we need to. Um, Literally, I'm going to share a story. Joelle and I just had a client, and they were trying to downsize, get rid of some things, and they had a guy come over. He said he was going to give them $100 for some porcelain, different Yadro pieces
Collections. Uh-huh.
collection. $100, right? We through our auctioneer, and really I give Joelle the credit for this. Joelle through our auctioneer, we were able to get this client $2,800 for these things.
Oh,
And that's just, I'm gonna pat ourselves on the back. Why not? We deserve it for that one. So, folks, if you are making a move, we'll make sure the move is a smooth one, and that you, or if you're a family member helping a loved one, we'll make sure they are unpacked in their bed the same day, in their bed, by the way, with the bed made. That's really what we do. So you can learn more about us at yourdependablepartner.com. We're here for a smooth move. If you like this information, hit the subscribe button below. Every week, we're here trying to bring you helpful information that you actually can use and benefit from. So, Jane, I thank you so much for being with us.
thank you too for having me. It's been a blast like usual.